Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Amshabhada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatashishimat His Divine Grace Srila Bhaishrana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Samavita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glorious to assembled devotees, all glorious to assembled devotees, all glorious to assembled devotees, glorious to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshul Militanjena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Shri Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Kids, Hare Krishna. Bolo Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. And no noise. We have to speak only about Krishna and nothing. Nothing is allowed. So let's understand the second factor that is detrimental to our devotional service is called Prayasa. Prayasa is an over-endeavouring. Now, over-endeavouring has a connotation that endeavour is required, but over-endeavour is not required. What is meant by over-endeavouring? When you align with nature and nature's demand, not your own desires are nature's demand. Nature's demand are given to each and every living entity because their bodies are composed of material nature. So natural demand is there. To work for maintaining body and soul together, that minimum requirement is not called over-endeavoring. The purpose of our endeavor is to please Krishna. Or even with our endeavor, if Krishna is attracted, then every success is calculated. Otherwise, this endeavor is called useless labor. Dharmasvanuttistham punsa visvakshena kathasuya notpadaye yadi ratim shrama evahi kevalam. If our endeavor fails to attract the attention of the Lord, then it is called useless labor. So we have to discern, after all, the energy of making an endeavor is given by Him. We never brought on our own accord. But yet, because of ignorant as we are, we do not know where the source of the energy to work or make an endeavor comes from. It is said, karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. Karma is originated from Brahma. Brahma means sum total of energy manifested, including the superior energy, inferior energy, and the jiva, marginal energy. Everything comes under Brahman. Right? Even the three modes of material nature, because also it is very energetic. They influence a person like anything. So it is called an endeavor. So the energy which is manifesting is meant for the service of energetic. So if our working energy, if it is not dovetailed to the master of all the potencies, energies, Lord Krishna, then it is a useless endeavor. It is a useless endeavor. Actually, work is meant for Him. Isn't it? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. The activities of yagya tapas, where we require spending of his own energy. To earn our income, we spend his energy. Not our own energy. We spend his energy. But we want only the result. Not giving back to him where it originates. So, karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. And therefore, Brahma upasana is meant by performance of activities. There is no other purpose of activities. Because Krishna is the original bhokta for all the activities like yajna, tapas. And why? Because he is the proprietor of all planetary system. So therefore, whatever our endeavor are, how do we have to look into the accountability as far as our efforts of performing a devotional act is concerned? Our activities of devotion are called akarma. That will not generate an adverse result or any result that is going to bind us because it is meant for Krishna. But yet we are willfully indulging in the activity. Right? As an instrument or whatever it is. But somehow or another, energy is in interaction. Therefore, we have to understand this prayas and over-endeavoring that simply we do out of ignorance and our pursuit of happiness, or artificially twisting for a better and better and better civilization. Whatever, under any pretext. They think we have to save the mankind, so let's go on the moon. It's a pretext, but not as it's an over-endeavor. And it is fruitless. So such endeavors has no value. It is simply waste of time, money, and at whose expense? At the expense of Krishna consciousness. So, we have to understand this prayas means over-endeavoring. What does prayas mean? Can you make it little bigger in the sense that the letters can be bigger? Now this is it, maximum? Well, can you read, everybody? Or you want to turn off light so you can read better? Is it okay? No problem? Okay. Because I'm on the extreme side, so, and moreover I have cataract, I have problem. Anyway, what does prayas mean? Prayas means what? The word prayas means endeavor or useless labor. Is there a need for prayas? In one's inherent occupation, there is no need for prayas. Still, in the living entity's conditional state, there is need for small amount of prayas in order to cultivate devotional service. Except this little prayas, all other kinds of prayas are unfavorable for devotional service. Question: how many kinds of prayasas are there? There are two. Jnana prayas and karma prayas. Right? Jnana prayas means the feeling of oneness of Kaivalya Daita arises, also known as Sayujya, merging or Brahma Nirvana, absorption in the Supreme. Because this is the impersonalist view, to become one with. So they will have to work hard on it. So it is Jnana prayas. It's an endeavor to come a long way for the conclusion. It is very difficult. Those who are contemplating on impersonal aspect, Krishna says that they will face very painful situation. Very painful. Why? Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha vadvirvapyate. For those who are cultivating or contemplating on the impersonal aspect of the Absolute through knowledge, the path is very difficult. Why? Dehavadbhiravapyate. One who is embodied and one who is manifested. For him to contemplate on unmanifested state, he has to negate all the bodily conception by hook or crook. And he has to do by force. He has to negate so many things. So all these activities are contrary of nobody's liking. And they are nothing but simply creating more miserable conditions. When Arjuna asked in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is better, to contemplate on impersonal or personal? So Krishna is advising, of course, with personal. to contemplate on the impersonal is extremely difficult. So why do people choose a difficult path, which is not recommended in the age of Kali? Huh? So we have to get the authoritative answer for that. In Mundaka Upanishad, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 3rd verse, it is explained that the Supreme Lord is not obtained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, or even by such much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. It's exactly like the quotation that Nayamatma na pravachanena labhya athava bahuna shrutena va yena atma tan labhyate tan vibrunute tanuswam. One who sweetly himself exposes, he will be revealed. That is his prerogative, independence. It is not that you can work hard. You can see Narad Muni's example when he was a child, when he was so much dependent upon his own mother. Father was not there, and mother also passes away by the snake bite. Narad Muni was, as a child, was left at the mercy of the Bhagavatas, who just came for 4 months for spending rainy season. And the rainy season is over, and they started going. So this boy, who was dependent upon their remnants of prasadam just to survive, now he will be totally alone. So he requested, "Can you take me with you?" He says, "No, our path is difficult." "But then how can I?" "Then you have to also trade a very difficult path." And the boy said, "I will do." He says, "You have to go in the jungle, and meditate. You don't have to give importance to your needs of the body. Forget this prayas, So you will be eventually purifying yourself, by which you will be able to have audience with the Lord." Right? So he thought, okay, let me do my endeavor of meditation. So he went through so much austere situations, and somehow or another, having pity on a little child, the Lord appeared. And he had a glimpse of the Lord. He was so much exhilarated and wanted to offer the prayers to the Lord, but the Lord disappeared, did not wait. Because he did not ask for nothing, why should he be there? But he was desirous to have the audience with the Lord, and a flickering of seconds audience was good enough to purify him. But then he hankered for more. And he thought, let me work hard again and I will call him back. And there he got frustrated. However, he made so many attempts, but no. So he was about to, kill himself, about to, said, my life is useless. What am I going to do now? Then the Lord resounded in instruction, foolish boy, don't you think that you have obtained me through your mystic power? I am not available. I have just given you my glimpse to increase the intensity so you may be able to achieve me finally. So, just remember, and when you quit this body, then you will be able to come in your purest form. But meanwhile, simply remember me. So, Narad Muni's endeavors failed to bring the Lord for an audience even. So, we need to understand that the Lord is pleased on His own accord. It does not depend upon. But we need to see that how easily He will be available through loving devotion. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham mahatma bhakto. That is the meaning. So prayas means over endeavoring, and we have to understand now what is this jnana prayas. Alright? In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 3rd verse, Lord Brahma is giving excellent examples of understanding of this subject matter, the jnana prayas. He says, O my Lord Krishna, a devotee who abandons jnana prayas, the path of empiric philosophical speculation aimed at merging in the existence of the Supreme, and engages himself in hearing your glories and activities from a bona fide sadhu or saint, and who lives in an honest life in the occupational engagement of his social life, can conquer your sympathy and mercy even though you are ajita or unconquerable. Jnane prayase udapasya namanta evahi. There's a beautiful, explanation that a devotee is not dependent upon jnana prayas to obtain the Lord, obtain the mercy of the Lord. He gives up that process. We are not here to achieve jnana. All right? Rather, jnana was aimed to get into the activities of merging into the impersonal aspect, and that requires such endeavor, and yet it is not satisfying. So, better take up the devotional process of hearing and chanting, and he can easily get your attraction. So, he can live an honest life in the occupational engagement of his social life. This is important for grahasthas. What kind of work will become conducive to perform. So, the Lord becomes sympathetic and merciful. Even though he is ajita, unconquerable, it will be easily conquerable by such grahasthas who are endeavoring only for devotional service, not otherwise. Brahma also says, my dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for speculative knowledge or understanding that these living beings are spirit souls and the material world is false, he undergoes great deal of trouble. He only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. So, there is no glory in jnana prayas. Somehow or another Mayavadi puts up the slogans. Even for a small scale school, primary school, they will write the Vedic aphorisms. Jnanarth aiye or sevarth jaiye. Did you ever read anyway? If you have been educated in local schools, they put so many slogans like that. come for obtaining knowledge and go for serving to the public. That is their aim. So that is jnana prayas, inauspicious activity. Jnana prayas is discouraged. So what should we do? The answer is glorification of the knowledge of one's relationship with the Lord is pure and spontaneous. There is no need of prayas there. The knowledge of one's relationship, sambandha gyan. Sambandha gyan, what is my relationship as a soul to the super soul or one of my origin? I'm fragment, part and parcel. What kind of heap of knowledge does it require to gain? You can immediately understand as a soul, Krishna is claiming me. He doesn't claim my body. So let the body go to hell, he doesn't care, but he wants to take care of me. My reality depends upon not the body, because body itself is temporary. It is a very fleeting experiences, can't depend. But my reality is an ever-existing, so it doesn't require much knowledge. You can, even a child can understand that I'm not this body. But he is going through bodily troubles like anything, like Kiriti is going right now. A problem, right? Okay. All right. Don't do Gyan Prayas, okay? See, that is part of devotional service. Immediately take him out and relieve him. Did it require any knowledge? Did anybody teach? You don't have to learn. So similarly, a spontaneous reaction should be there as part of the devotional practice, where we have to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He reveals Himself. Those who do not want a direct knowledge of the Supreme Lord that He gives about Himself, you don't have to learn. He's simply revealing according to one's establishment of relationship with Him. So, this knowledge is naturally dormant in the heart of living entity. Just like Father is reflecting the knowledge of the need of his beloved child, and it is in the heart. He did not go to school to get it in the brain. Okay? So, there was no jnana prayas involved in it. The Lord is like a spiritual sun, and the living entities are like molecular particles of the sun rays. The living entity cannot remain in his constitutional form without being subordinate to the Lord. Therefore, servitorship of the Lord is his constitutional duty. He has to serve the Lord. It becomes his constitutional duty. If we are performing our constitutional duty, it is very natural. Simply it has to be invoked by chanting Hare Krishna. That is not a prayas. Prayas means one has to achieve something by sadhana. Prayas means endeavor. But for bhakti there is no endeavor. Because the seed of devotion is already in the heart. The Guru skillfully brings out the seed which may be deepen in the heart, but towards the surface, so it can have, opportunity to sprout with watering of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This is not an endeavor, it is a natural constitutional function. But a conditional function is imposed by ignorance. Living entities are conditioned, and they are falsely thinking, oh, if I am not becoming an engineer, I will not get PR. Ati prayas varjayet, otherwise it will take toll. Excess of everything is dangerous. So, understand what is our constitutional duty and conditional duty. Constitutional duty does not require any endeavor. But conditional duty will force you to endeavor into the blind venture. It's like griha andhakupam. Andhakupam, it's a dark well. And if you are falling in the dark well, oh, who is going to rescue you? So how should one cultivate this constitutional duty? Cultivation of this constitutional duty is the nature of living entity. This spontaneous, devoid of any prayas dharma or duty, in the conditional state, this is dormant and has to be awakened by sadhana or spiritual practice. So that prayas, that much prayas is essential. One should take the shelter of the holy name with respect and commit himself to chant 16 rounds, following regulatory principles. That is becoming his transformation from conditional state to constitutional state. Our constitutional position is Jivera Swarupa Hoira Krishnera Nitya Das Krishnera Tatastha Shakti Veda Abheda Prakash. We are marginal potency of Lord Krishna. So, to make a choice to come to the side of Krishna, does it require a prayas or hard work to do? No. Let's see more about Jnana Prayas. Question is, what does Lord Krishna say about Jnana Prayas? The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th verses, those who fix their minds upon my personal form and are always engaged in the worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered to be, by me the most perfect. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, and the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such person engaged in welfare of all at last achieved me. This at last means it was a hard endeavor. What happened? Died by itself. I didn't do nothing, no prayas. Haribol. So, for those whose minds are attracted to unmanifest impersonal feature of the supreme advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. And embodied should not try to waste their time and energy after seeking out impersonal Brahman. He is an embodied, and how can he contemplate on an unmanifest? He is already manifest himself. Do you think he knows his state as unmanifested? You bet it is. One cannot know by the dint of knowledge that he was such and such in his past life. No. He may have some glimpse, but not. Karma prayas is the second category. Let us understand what kind of karma prayas one should engage in. Karma is required, right? But up to what point? In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor or prayas if they do not provoke the attraction of the message for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee should accept his duty according to varnashram, which are favorable to devotional service. Then they are counted as part of devotional service. All these activities are no longer called karma. In varnashram dharma, if we are performing prescribed duties for the satisfaction of the Lord, they become devotional service. Suppose you are a Vaishya, you are a merchant, all right? So, Krishi Gauraksha Vanijam, Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam, he is supposed to be engaged in agriculture and cow protection, right? Now, if he does for the pleasure of the Lord, it is not a karma prayas. It becomes devotional service because the aim is to please Lord Krishna. Isn't it? So, he is not doing an over-endeavoring. There are three kinds of devotees. Swanisthita devotees are addicted to their own line of devotion, bringing karma and its result within the realm of devotional service. Swanisthita. They want to perform devotional service, but they want to bring the karma and its result within the realm of devotional service. They think, I am doing this even though he may know whether Krishna likes or not. But probably he may be able to successfully bring the result to Lord Krishna. That is called karma swanisthita. He is swanisthita means by his own will, desire, not Krishna's desire. He wants to engage his karma. Krishna has his own preference. Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam, that is another thing. What is favorable to Lord Krishna, we must be taking. But no, I want to perform certain activities and I will offer the result to the Lord. So, swanisthita, karma swanisthita devotees are good. Parinishthita devotees, that fully addicted to devotional service, performs pious activities that are not contrary to devotional principles, only to attract people. The big pomp, pandals where big kathas and for social attraction, bringing the whole group together. Such performance are for simply profit, adoration and distinction. So, they are kind of devotees, but they are addicted to devotional service. They think, yes, I'm speaking nothing but for Krishna or about Krishna, but it will become only a pious activity. Because the results are an attachment for him. They say, yes, we follow devotional principles or religious principles, and the principles of ethics and others are being performed, etiquette and so forth. But they are not oriented to please the Lord, but they are oriented with the results of profit, adoration and distinction. Then these devotees are having their different categorization. Nirapeksha devotees accept activities favorable for devotional service without caring for popular approval. Nirapeksha. Nihi apeksha. One who does not depend upon any social or material circumstances or contrivances. They do not take any help, but want to sit down for his own salvation, just like Parikshit Maharaj sat down. It was he is a nirapeksha. Nihi apeksha. He does not have any aspiration or dependency on such material gathering or anything. So, nirapeksha devotee is of a higher category. Karma prayas is to be understood in right perspective. So what is the right understanding? The knowledge of the living entity's relationship of simultaneously oneness and difference are most natural and therefore devoid of prayas. This relationship is of qualitative oneness with the Lord, but quantitative difference is natural and it does not require endeavor. Such understanding is natural. You accept that you are not the Lord, but you are part and parcel of the Lord. So you are qualitatively one, quantitative difference. Does it require much grilling exercises to acquire the knowledge? Or it is easily acceptable? Those who know their constitutional position, it is easy for them. Those who think they are somebody, it is difficult for them. Everything is difficult for them. This should be accepted as means and not the goal. Otherwise, it becomes a source of fault. Understand this part. It is a means. It is not the final state. Oh, I am one with the Lord, but at the same time I am different with the Lord. It's not the end. Where is the service? It is the natural occupation. It does not require the knowledge. Because otherwise also, you were never the master. You were ending up serving something other than the Lord. So karma prayas has to be understood in the right perspective. If we fail to understand that, it is not the goal, yet I am simultaneously one and different. Yes, I know. I am qualitatively one, but quantitative difference. So I am a little Lord here within my own body. So many little Lords are Namo Narayan, Namo Narayan. It becomes the source of fault. So, what prayas is favorable to devotional service? The hard labor for activities like visiting holy places is prayas that is unfavorable for devotional service. However, visiting places of Krishna's pastimes with greedy desire to awaken ecstatic love for Krishna and to associate with the devotees is certainly devotional service and not useless prayers. Simply to go and visit a place, holy place, from far away, with difficulties, does not in itself constitute devotional service. But did he do any association with sadhu there? Purified himself. Otherwise, did he go like a tourist and came back? It has to awaken ecstatic love for Krishna and to associate with devotees is certainly devotional service and is not useless prayas. The prayas for serving the Vaishnava is not a prayas. Service to the Vaishnava is devotional service. A devotional service is not called prayas. Oh, I have to have a big organization and masterminding this and that, and you have to prepare for months and no. It happened many times in the lives of devotees. They get experience. Prabhupada wanted us to go to Kumbh Mela and make big endeavor to establish. And from a previous year, we have to work hard, go through the city council to acquire our piece of land on a rental and good location and this and that, And then go for the tents and advertise and this. Oh, long endeavors. But sometimes this over-endeavoring becomes troublesome. There are losses. Even though every favorable situation to serve for the purpose that Srila Prabhupada has, if we go off track, then it becomes an over-endeavor. I think 2 years back, the Mahakumbh we learned that there are still some money owed and not paid. And you never know. You can go to court, so it becomes an over-endeavoring. So prayas for serving the Vaishnavas is not prayas, and there is no need for prayas in renunciation even. If you want to give up, do you have to go to the lawyer and make arrangements that I'm now giving up this, that? No, give up. Here it is. Hand it over to the next in Hare. So there is no need for prayas in renunciation. Because when devotion to Krishna arises in the heart, the living entity easily becomes disinterested in everything other than Krishna. Means he is already on the automatic threshold of renunciation. It develops within the heart. It does not develop here. And there is spontaneous development in the heart, but it takes the brain to understand how it is developing. That is a prayas. One should not, go on that kind of endeavor. Karma prayas in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 7th verse says, by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge or the knowledge of eternally perfect servitorship of the Lord. And the detachment from the prayas from the world. So when one gives up jnana, karma and vairagya prayas and engage in devotional practices, then the obstacle of jnana, karma, yoga and vairagya cannot pull one down. Separately, we cannot do make efforts to control the activities of the knowledge. Means by discern or discrimination, you have to tax your brain, means your intelligence has to be sharp, and you can't, afford the imperfectness of other senses to interfere in making a judgment. It's a big endeavor. When we perform devotional service, everything is automatically generated as a byproduct. You do not need to achieve. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayati Janayatyasu Jnanam Vairagyam Chadahitukam. Causeless knowledge and detachment of the Absolute is generated in our heart if we perform pure devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vasudeva. That is the proof. Unless and until jnana and vairagya are produced in our heart, not artificially, you can't twist jnana and vairagya or borrow for some time from somebody. No. It is a byproduct of devotional service. So unless and until byproducts are generated, you will not be able to verify whether you are performing devotional service to the Supreme or not. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 42nd verse says, devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakti, Pareshanu, Bhava, Virakti, Anyastre, Trika Kala. Simultaneously three things happen. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. without any endeavor. Pure devotional service manifests. And he get glimpse of the Lord face to face. Parishanubhav and virakti, detachment from the worldly matters. Just like prapadyamanasya kshuta apta pushti tushti chanughasam. At every morsel of food that we take in, we experience hunger is removed, satisfaction is obtained, and nourishment also comes. Every morsel. So, in over-endeavoring how to overcome, if a devotee chants humbly without duplicity, the real intelligence awakens that I am spiritual particle, servant of Krishna. Krishna is my eternal Lord. Surrender to Krishna's feet is my eternal nature. This world is like a traveler's rest house. And to be attached to anything of this world will not give me eternal happiness. This is the result. If one chants humbly, you will feel direct connection with Krishna, and whatever connection we have with the world will automatically be severed. So, understanding this particular situation, we will be able to attain all perfection. Jnana prayas, karma prayas, yoga prayas, mukti prayas, as well as over-endeavoring for material enjoyment, worldly achievement, and association with materialistic people are all hostile principles for one who has taken shelter of the holy name. By these forms of prayas, one's devotional service is ruined. The prayas for attaining pratishtha or fame should always be avoided. The desire for fame is the root cause of all anarthas. Any question? Yes.
Mukti Prayasa means Sayujya Mukti Prayasa. Sayujya.
Yes. Or even 4 types of muktis in Vaikuntha. Because we desire and we end up worship that way.
Desiring to go.
Yes.
The Lord is Mukti Prayasa.
That is also Mukti Prayasa.
But the material world is full of.
It is not automatic.
Fully miserable material world.
Our Sri Vaishnavite Prabhus should understand this part, because there requires endeavor to acquire opulences, to acquire the form of the Lord, to acquire salokya, means same planet situation, to acquire samipya, the closeness. These are our own desires. To fulfill our own desires, we have to do the devotional service. But you do not require any prayas to perform devotional service to the supreme fulfillment of desires. His desires should be fulfilled. It is done on a spontaneous level. Those devotees who are acting spontaneously, they never feel that they are endeavoring or they are trying or this or that way. Now, yes, can I do it? Okay, here it is. Krishna, it depends upon Krishna. It doesn't have intelligence, but nonetheless they will be able to manifest that particular result. It's by Krishna's grace. Simply he is executing as a menial servant. So, householder should pass his life engaged in devotional service, free from prayas. An ideal household life. Can anybody do like that? Oh, I have to do double job to maintain the family. But this prayas, which is natural, to turn into devotional service, Krishna bhakti karile. Sarva karma krita hoy. It does not require prayas. The success of our householder life depends upon this. Otherwise, calculated entanglement. Right? Earn and save only to easily maintain the family members. Jad, listen. Listen carefully. Remember that worshipping Lord Hare is the only purpose of life. Ta-da! What will be the result? No falling into illusion. No falling into illusion. Lord Brahma in Srimad Bhagavatam tells in 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th verse, he said, "My dear Lord, one who constantly waits for your causeless mercy to be bestowed upon him, and who goes on suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, offering you respectful obeisances from the core of his heart, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Nothing is achieved by jnana prayas, but one can know Krishna only by his mercy. Tatte anukampam su samikshramanaha bhunjanam evatmak kritam vipakam radavagavapurvi vidadam namaste jiveta padesa mukti daya bhak." He is liberated. Simply in any adverse condition, he stops over endeavouring. When he gets a result, he stops and accept this as mercy of the Lord. Again, in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 14th chapter, 29th verse, it says, "My Lord, if one is favored even by a slight trace of your mercy, of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. If one takes shelter of the holy name with humility, then by your mercy, by the mercy of the Lord, without prayas, all knowledge of the absolute truth that should be known awakens within the heart of that simple devotee. This knowledge is never attained by independent prayas." One who tries to make so much calculated prayasas, endeavors, calculated, they also take so much risk. Ultimately, they don't want to be responsible for their prayers and blame on something else. Excuses and excuses. This kind of mentality is rejected. Be simple. So, these are two prayasas, jnana prayas and karma prayas. And one should not spend life after such endeavor, because karma prayas and jnana prayas, the seeds are embedded in the heart of the devotee. The seed is chit, means cognizant, and the Paramatma is supplying the energy so he can approach. But that much energy and knowledgeability, they are enough to invoke the love of Godhead without much overemphasizing the aspect of external knowledge or external spending of the energy to perform hard kind of work. In Krishna consciousness, it is not required. If it is springing from the heart, then you will naturally develop faster. There is no mechanical approach to expedite our devotional service. Rather, it springs from the heart. So why should we artificially engage in acquiring knowledge and performing expertise? In any sadhana. Let it come naturally. It has to establish that relationship. So one should be acquainted with the knowledge of sambandha or relationship with the Supreme and functionality that he is eternal servant of the Lord. This becomes his constitutional right for existence, and that's good enough. But our desires are making us chasing our own tail, like a dog is chasing its own tail, goes round and round and round and round with useless labor. He can't chase it. So that jnana prayas and karma prayas are detrimental to devotional service. They destroy our devotional service. So anybody has any question?
Jnana prayas means material knowledge or spiritual knowledge? Or I don't understand. Jnana prayas.
Knowledge of impersonal also. Neti, 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 neti. Where is iti? If you keep on denying yourself, then you will never come to iti. Iti means finished, period. Those who are resorting by going through the pages of Vedas to find this is not that absolute, this is not, but then what is not? He misses the point. It's a matter that will spring from one's own heart if he remains simple and devoted. It is said that Chakshudan diloje janme janme Prabhu say divya gyan hriday prakashita. Do you have to have education to invoke this divine knowledge? The process is simple. Become conversant with the conclusion of the Vedas. And you don't have to read. If you accept with faith because you love your spiritual master, then just janme janme Prabhu say. So therefore, the Shastric knowledge will manifest as divine knowledge in your eye and in your heart. The knowledge is given by Krishna. And when we receive it, do you think it is called Prayasa? He did the labor to tell all this. And Vyasadeva wrote with a lot of labor, if you consider that. But to receive the knowledge ready-made and conclusive, does it require Prayasa? Or you readily accept whatever he says is absolute truth? But because you don't have faith, go chase your own tail, Prabhu. So, yeah.
Yeah, so holy name reveals Krishna. So why did Prabhupada emphasize so much on reading and studying his books?
Reading and studying about the devotional service that springs in the heart, it is just a reconfirmation. Those who are illiterate, do you think they require anything to obtain love of Godhead? It is accessible to them too. Mam hi partha vyapasritya yesyu papayonaya striyo vaishyas tatha sudra yatim param gatim. But if you are a preacher, you are inducted in the army of Lord Chaitanya, so become conversant. What is in the book? So you can preach to others. But after all, it is devotional service. You are willingly accepting the duty. Yes, I am a volunteer to preach. You go on front line. So go with the ammunition. Become conversant with the conclusions of the Shastra. And if you say, as for example, to produce this slide, somebody must have done a lot of endeavor, right? He might have done endeavor, but the result is, within 1 hour, you get so much organized, and proof of the personalities like Brahma and Lord Krishna speaking and making us understand. So it's an acceptance by heart, not by brain. If you are accepting only by brain, then you are going to do the endeavor. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple, but those who are complicated, it becomes a complicated nature. Then they will think in terms of prayers. Oh my God, look at that. I have been chanting for 35 years and I'm not getting a tinge of love of God. A lot of endeavor you have to do. But on the other behalf, just to make us more simple, we are given the threat that even life after life, bahu janma yadi kare shravana kirtana. Now to understand that we should chant, however offenselessly, then is it difficult that we have to recite daily? Yes, because we are forgetting. So that kind of prayas which are conversant to remember the Lord as devotional service, they are not called labor. There's a labor for material gain and labor for love are two different distinction approaches.
Maharaj, for a householder, though you, as you explained that in the process of we maintaining our Krishna consciousness, we go through, we have to go and work, but it appears as if sometime to maintain, we may have to do some extra because of the circumstances and requirements. And also looking at the future, so we may looking at our Krishna conscious future, either to go and reside in Holy Dham. So if we have to start endeavouring, how do we understand from this Prayasa point of view, and how do we balance both, even when we are working, earning, maintaining our Krishna consciousness?
Let's see again. Right? Householders should pass his life engaged in devotional service free from prayas. And you have questioned, how can it be free from prayas? Earn and save only to easily maintain the family members. Choose a kind of lifestyle that will require easy earning and saving also. All right? Because your aim is, you don't want to fall into illusion. All right? Our endeavor is to serve the Lord, not serve the senses of our own or our family members. Otherwise, is there any standard created by somebody that you need only this much to require? Even the government puts the minimum earning wage. They think that this is the standard that they will require minimum without any saving, but they will be able to maintain. But here it is said, save money. Save money. In the early days of where there was unemployment about 7% in America in 1971, we accepted temporary jobs, fatafat, before searching, the permanent job of but without much endeavor, get on your foot. We were spending in rupees and saving in dollars. Do you know what does it mean? Even in America, we have to calculate how much does it cost in rupees. So, we were frugal. Frugality doesn't mean miserliness. But if it works, simple. Simplicity is very much important. So how can we make our life simple rather than complicated? That is the aim. We can't make up our status quo right now, whatever we are. We think we have to maintain this, and then therefore I have to work about 3 jobs to maintain this status quo. That is over-endeavoring. Ati prayas. Prayas is not necessary to cultivate devotional service. But you may look into the future of your children. Yes, save money, invest money. Rupa Goswami gave 50-50, remember? Then engage that way. But the aim is that our life should not be wasted. We have to complete the aim within this lifetime.
Maharaj, in the workplace environment, we see all the people working for lot of endeavor, when they are doing a lot of prayas. So being there in that particular environment, we also have to do a lot of prayas in order to...
Prabhu, it's very unlucky situation. I was lucky. Even in my workplace, devotees would come and visit me. They were not ashamed. They were encouraging me. So Krishna sent circumstances. I, gave up easily. So, we have to estimate, are we taking the best use of the opportunity or not? If the opportunity is gone, then we have to hang on. Yes, Mata.
Is there any way of turning activities that are just work while you're doing them into devotional service?
That is,
Normal activities.
yeah, but you can't you can't do arti there at your workplace. You know? You can't start worshipping your work. But you have to cultivate a consciousness that you are working for Krishna. Right? It means you are borrowing his energy to work to get some result, so therefore result belongs to him. You are an instrument only. Right? And if you offer that, Krishna will maintain you. You know? But you do not have to make separate effort for Krishna and separate effort for yourself. Because you are servant of Krishna. Right? This is only an occupation of our conditioned state that we work outside. But our constitutional service is already eternally established. How can you stop that? So, to come back on the track of our constitutional services, we have to be tricky. That we have to maintain that status quo of simplicity, so we can concentrate more on constitutional services. It is, however, done trickily because, other family members may not be agreeing with you. They want you to endeavor for themselves too. So if they are your well-wishers, then tell them to cooperate and engage them properly. Similarly, so they become complementary to your service to the Lord. So engage them in service of Krishna. Is it interesting or not? Maybe difficult because we have too much entanglement.
And what's the difference between Krishna's mercy and then endeavoring by our own self? I mean, how can we say that, this is not...
Krishna is merciful, but we are underestimating his mercy. We don't want to live on His mercy. We want to create our own empire without His help. Even though we borrow everything, it's just like a partner who has borrowed all the resources from another partner and he wants to dump him. That is called disgruntled activity. He is accompanying us. And we say, oh, you are not going to give me up? I will give you up. And I have no capacity to give him up. I will be made forgetful about him. Then we think, yes, I'm an atheist. I have no obligation to the Lord anymore. But it's very erroneous idea and illusory. It will be blown up.
Maharaj, which kind of service Krishna most like?
Huh?
Which kind of service Krishna most like?
Most like. If you can't give up your life for Him, then work for Him. If you can't work for Him, then offer the results for Him. Right? If you can't offer your result to Him, then chant Hare Krishna. The last one is very easy, right? But Krishna will make sure that it is not that easy. You can't escape.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In one of the slides earlier, it was mentioned that the desire for fame is the root cause of all endeavors, all anarthas. So, could you please explain how it's the root cause of all anarthas?
Anarthas mean unwanted. Fame is a very subtle attachment. That it is coming out of false ego that we are somebody. Right? To make our existence separate and individual, we think it will be dependent upon how much hard work that I will do to raise myself up or my status of living. Just like even there was there are two friends, Vishwamitra and Vasishtha. Vasishtha was a Brahman and Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya. But according to the Vedic system, one is higher by karma, that is Brahman. And Vishwamitra says no. Kshatriya is also equivalent. But you can't become Kshatriya by birth or Brahman by birth. You must act in such a way that your activities are Brahmanical. So he thought during that time to become Brahman you need tapasya. Hard endeavor. So he went to Himalaya. And he did so much severe austerity because he was very passionate person. So a passionate person like Dhruva even will go for hardship over endeavoring. right? But naturally, here, the natural proclivity for fame of being a Brahman from Kshatriya, that he wanted to convert himself, that was the aim for Vishwamitra. And he does achieve even after hard lesson. Meanwhile, even Indra became very envious of him. He sent Menka to disturb his meditation, and she was successful. But then he realized his mistake. Oh, next time I will not make it. So he started again very severe austerity. And the demigods have to accept him as a Brahman. So he said, now we are equal. And then equality, how long such equality of status quo can retain? Vishwamitra has to somehow or another turn into devotional aspect, because that was the Vasishtha's nature was. Vasishtha became guru for Ramchandra to learn about impersonalism. And Vishwamitra, he went and he was also like guru for Dashrath Maharaj, who took Ram and Lakshman to kill the Rakshasas. So one has to go through so much hard endeavor to have a status quo. It was not needed. If Vishwamitra would have turned into direct devotional service to Lord Ramchandra, by practice. So he had a false ego that has to be satisfied, and the false ego took too much endeavor for him. Like that. So all the anarthas are linked up this way to exhibit individuality and superiority of others. As false ego dictates. So therefore, it's an anartha, root cause of all anartha.